We are live. Welcome to the Bradbury Challenge, the podcast where three writers attempt to write one short story each week. My name is Maya Good, and I am here with Chrissy Moss and Gerald Hornsby, and I almost said Chrissy Hornsby and Gerald Moss.
They're practically interchangeable anyway.
It's
Hi,
early.
Mr. Moss.
Is there something that I should know about?
Not a problem.
Okay, so how's your writing this week?
Better.
Better? How so?
I took most of a week off after
Mhm.
Nano because I almost usually do. But last couple nights I started writing again, and it's actually going better than I thought it would.
That's awesome. How about you, Gerald?
Yeah, good. Also, yeah, I think after NaNoWriMo, you have that sort of funny little period where you think, oh, thank God I don't have to write today, and then the next day you think, I shall write soon, and days turn into days. But
Yes.
no, I've been very good. I've written 1 2/3 short stories, and I have planned the second book in my series, what I started for NaNoWriMo.
What? You're actually gonna continue?
That's freaking awesome.
Yeah, and today I was just sort of blaring about the NaNoWriMo thing and you know, how am I going to resolve all these things there? And then I suddenly thought of a change of character and a change of emphasis, and all of a sudden it started to make more sense. So it was very, very good. So I'm a happy bunny.
Excuse me. That's great. Actually, I was talking about this off camera, so I can't give specifics, but I had a breakthrough this week as well. I've been struggling on the doll story, like really struggling. I tried it in third person. I tried it in first person. I tried it further away. I tried it closer up, and something was just not working. And so I contacted my writing group, and I was like, hey, I noticed no one's really submitted work this week. Can I bring you the crap I have? And then we sit around the table and hold like a story meeting type situation like they do with screenplays and talk about my story, and maybe we can figure out how to unblock this thing. And they're like, yeah, that's a really good idea. And so, but we had a bunch of cancellations, so it was just me and 2 people, and we all drank wine and talked about my doll story.
That sounds awful.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was totally awesome. Yeah, it was absolutely amazing, and it completely unblocked me. And I came away from the story knowing exactly how to approach it. And finally, the next day I had a title. This is something that's weird about me. I don't know if anybody else is like this. I can't write fiction if I don't have a title. When I try to write fiction without a title, it's like I flounder. For me, the title is as important as a character name. Even if I don't use the character name, I have to have a character name. It tells me so much about the character that I cannot write them unless I can see them as a person, and that entails having a name. And it's the same thing with my stories. I can write a poem without a title, but I can't write short stories. I can't write novels. I can't write anything fiction unless I have a title. And to come, excuse me again, to come away and finally have a title is like a huge leap forward from where I was. I think that was part of why I was floundering, because I was really having a hard time bringing in my focus to what my theme was. And the title helps with that for me.
Yeah.
So that was really good. I sent in a poem. So now I have 3 things out for submission right now, because I think last week I had 2. So this week I have 3 things total out for submission. And I revised the first 4 scenes, first 4 scenes of my pen name project. So yeah, it's a good week.
That's good. That's very exciting.
Yeah, that needs to happen because, you know, food, rent.
Yeah. Boring
all
stuff.
that stuff.
Like that. Yeah.
Yep. I need to just suck it up and say, you know what? Literary authors have been writing this stuff since time immemorial. I need to just lift up my skirt, bend over, and prostitute myself to the world. Buy my fiction.
That was a really descriptive way of saying that.
Well, when you're writing stuff that, I mean, it's going to be good. When you're but you're writing stuff that isn't what you ultimately want to be writing. It kind of feels like that a bit, you know, but it's market targeted. It'll sell. I know it'll sell. I just got to get through the drafts. I know I can write the stuff. I mean, it's good.
Well, I mean, you wouldn't be the first person who just writes something just to sell it. I mean, I know. A lot of people who started writing, you know, just science fiction and fantasy. They made a lot of money writing erotica first because it's so easy to get it published.
And there's a huge history of literary authors writing mystery novels, pulp novels, porn novels. Like it goes back to the beginning of publishing. So, I mean, if I can write these genre novels in a way that they're good, that they do pay attention to detail, but they still follow the genre requirements, then I'll be happy with myself, you know, and I'll probably sneak in some literary elements that no one will notice just to make myself happy.
That's all you need, right?
Yeah, I just gotta sneak some in there just to give myself some food.
Yeah, wait for the 1-star review and say, I didn't understand this bit.
It's okay, just ignore it and pay attention to the sex.
That's a bit of a metaphor for life, isn't it?
It really is sometimes, Gerald. You would just have to go there. Oh, it's too early. We should never podcast this early because it goes nowhere good real quick, doesn't it?
I would argue that this is probably one of the more entertaining shows that we've had.
You know what, though? But then I get these messages that tell me to stop fucking laughing. You laugh too much. I get them. Gerald's laughing, but I get those messages.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to actually enjoy podcasting.
No, because I laugh like a goddamn hyena.
This is serious. No laughing.
Yes, it's fiction.
Yes. Take your writing seriously.
Totally. So, Gerald, tell us about the stories you worked on.
Well, it's to do with Christmas, but I have a thing about Christmas and about the commercialism and all this sort of stuff, and I'm not keen on and someone was talking to me the other day and saying, that my Christmas isn't anything like everyone else's, and we don't have the parties and we don't have the family around and we don't and just it was like they're quoting advertisements from the television or something. It's this is what Christmas should be like, and I don't have that sort of Christmas. So and all the constant adverts and the happy smiling people and the children kicking snow and all this sort of stuff. So I'm writing alternative Christmas stuff.
Okay.
So, interesting.
Yeah. It's and it's of a type at the moment, but.
So you have your own personal Christmas where you just sit around and watch telly and drink tea? You're saying Christmas is Friday?
You're just bringing out all the stereotypes. So, Gerald, do you just sit around by a fire and drink tea and watch telly?
Yes.
Watch football?
I mean, that's what I do. So I'm sitting here drinking tea right now, and I'm wishing to hell the freaking fireplace was on because it's cold in here.
Yeah.
No, I enjoy Christmas, and I suppose I enjoy Christmas. I mean,
just second guess yourself. You're not sure.
Parts of Christmas.
Yeah, I like the meals with friends that happen. So that's good. It's an excuse to go. Are we going out tonight for one of the groups with a Christmas jumper?
That's right.
Hey.
One thing I would have liked when my kids were small, because I really struggled with Christmas. Most religions have a holiday in December.
Mm-hmm.
And the December holiday for Buddhists is kind of lame when you try to present it to children.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's lame. You can't hold up. Like, I remember friends back when I was a kid that were Jewish, and they're like, yeah, we get presents for 7 days, but they all suck. We get like one thing. And then like over the years, Christmas, in order for them to keep up all the Christian kids, because the kids would be all disappointed about their little itsy bitsy trinkets, And it's kind of like that, where we ended up celebrating Christmas by default because lame. So we celebrate the enlightenment of the Buddha. Usually it's around the 8th of December, and you meditate all day and you eat. And that's it. There's no presents. It's not a big, huge meal. It's like one small meal. You meditate and walk in meditation at the temple all freaking day for like 8 hours. like, how do you tell kids that's a fun holiday, right? You just can't. You can't compete. There is no competition. I mean, when the next door neighbor kids come over with, oh, look what I got on Christmas. What'd you do? We meditated all day. Like, no, it just doesn't. No. It doesn't work. Well, and I always. We don't even have like decent books for children. Like if you get like Buddhist children's stories, which is kind of crazy because the Buddha told lots of really cool stories. He told like jump hot tales, which are about these monkeys that do all this interesting stuff, you know. But the Buddhist books for children are also kind of lame. Like it's kind of like a serious cerebral type religion, and it shows. And I always thought it would be really fun to have like Buddhist Christmas stories for the kids, like in nice, colorful books that aren't just
yeah, something.
Here's the Dharma, 5-year-old. Your friend's learning about Santa Claus, but here you can learn about the Dharma. Like you can learn about the Dharma. Let's make it a little fun for the kiddies.
That's funny.
That's good. Yeah.
I mean, if you ever want a children's line, you have an idea.
Hey, it is what it is. But I mean, even as an adult, like I appreciate running into holiday tales that aren't specifically Christmas. It always makes me feel a little bit more included. And there are a few, but definitely not enough, I don't think. I think it would be nice.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's a shame for the kids, isn't it, if they feel left out because everyone else is doing something more, exciting and so on.
Well, I mean, my children were, poor kids growing up in rich areas, so
there was already that.
Yeah, there was already that. We celebrate Christmas. I mean, it's a secular version of it. We have a Christmas tree and we decorate and we have some presents under the tree thing, and that's what it is. But I always had to scramble to find Christmas presents.
Yep. That's where I was.
And a couple years ago when Greg and I hooked up and everything, I was divorced and everything started going correct in my life. We decided, wow, we have money. We can buy presents. And so we kind of went a little overboard.
Yeah. I always went overboard to make up for the fact that we were the poor family in the rich neighborhood. And we had a Christmas tree because if I didn't, then people would assume it was because we were poor, not because we were Buddhist. Right. And there was this whole like political thing in the neighborhood of how we were treated as a family. And so just to shut everybody up, we had a Christmas tree and we had presents. But I remember looking for Buddhist Christmas tree ornaments because I was like, if I'm going to do this, I want my tree covered in little laughing Buddhas and crap.
You probably could find
it.
And
I couldn't find them. I really looked. I could not find it. I found one set of little Buddhist Christmas lights, little laughing Chinese Buddhas on lights, and that was it. And they were expensive, so I didn't get them. But what I really wanted were really pretty ornaments that were, different bodhisattvas and the Buddha and maybe like some little Bodhi trees on the Christmas tree. I thought it would be really pretty, and I was surprised I couldn't find them. I'm sure they probably exist now, but it would have been really, really cool. Now my daughter has a little miniature tree. I gave her all of my ornaments because that was the thing. That was the biggest relief once the kids left for college, was I don't have to celebrate holidays I don't want to anymore.
Yeah.
I'm like, hooray. Take them all. These for grandmas. They're yours now.
That's funny.
Yeah, because our kids are grown up and left home, and it's just going to be the two of us this Christmas. So, yeah, we'll go out for the meals on Christmas Day. We're going down to the pub to have a drink with friends, and we'll come back. We'll eat. We'll have the turkey. It's sort of traditional stuff like that. But
you don't have to traipse around at 2 a.m. pretending like you're not. Just in case anybody else that's not supposed to be listening is listening. That was coded. Anyone over 9 gets it. You know, that's the other thing, getting some freaking sleep.
There's that, yes.
The first year I could get sleep.
Hooray. Yeah.
I remember that. Oh yeah, I don't have to do that anymore.
You wake up at 5:30 and think, where are they? What's oh yeah, that's
oh shit, I forgot, kids don't come downstairs.
Oh, no.
I absolutely love waking up and my house being completely empty in the morning.
Yeah.
And then coming home from work and there's nobody sitting on my couch watching my TV.
No video games.
Well, no, the video games start as soon as I get home.
Yep. But you're the culprit and someone you want to play.
My children were never very big into video games, which I kind of found sad.
Yeah. You know, everyone talks about when your kids leave home, how horrible and sad, how you cry for days. And I was like, no one told me how awesome it was going to be. Let me just say, for all the parents out there who are getting ready, who are sending out those college apps right now, whose kids going off to college next year, don't worry about it. It's freaking awesome. Yeah, it is really awesome to wake up in the morning. No one's in your house. At the end of the week, you get a phone call about how great they're doing. My kids don't call me for money. They're doing great in school. And it's kind of cool.
Yep.
The whole relationship changed. It's so cool. They're like supportive and loving of me. Like all that stuff that I put into them, now I'm getting back. No one ever told me this. So parents looking at next year, it's okay. It's okay. It just goes all, it's all awesome from here.
Welcome to the world. Yes.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean,
so Chrissy, what did you work on this week?
Mostly my novel.
Okay. Which one? The one in the series?
Yeah. So I finished my witches one, so I'm doing Half-Blood Sorceress.
Okay.
Wow.
And so I have book 1 and book 2 mostly half finished. And so now I'm going back through and finishing chapters and finding where there's missing plot points and stuff and putting it all together. So doing that takes a little longer than actually just, writing down free thought.
Mm.
Or free
thought,
sure.
Because you have to actually think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is that. You got to turn your brain on.
Yeah. I don't know about that, but
I gotta say it's weird. It is weird starting to draft a new novel. It's kind of a trip because I've been working on short stories for so long and I've been revising my 2 novels in progress for so long that starting a whole new one is just kind of like my brain's hiccuping a little bit. I had like 13,000 words written in it. And I went back and I read it. I was like, what happened over the past year? Because I don't write like this anymore.
Right.
Like, my writing is so much better than last year. Like, really? Oh my God, Chrissy.
Yeah.
Some of these chapters, you're just like, really? Where was I going with that?
Oh, wow.
And so I'm having to go back through those 13,000 words to clean it up and kind of remember where I'm at so I can go forward. And it ends up being more of a complete revision because they're just that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Been there, done that.
I got the t-shirt, right?
Oh, yes.
So we are 20 minutes in.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to read something for us?
I'm
looking at you, Gerald.
Oh, you look at me. Yeah, I'm gonna. I have something ready to read. In fact,
I knew you would because you're always prepared.
Oh yes. Well, sometimes. Usually. Yeah. Do you want me to? Should I do it now?
Hey, hit it, and we'll talk about it.
Okay. I turn this up. It's called The Real Meaning of Christmas. His name was Peter, but no one called him that anymore. He was anonymous, on the streets, but invisible. The bright lights and gaudy decorations in the shops used to offend him, but they had lost their power over his demeanor. Getting angry never solved anything, and he paused by the waving Santas, the pseudo-galloping reindeer, the fake presents with the bright wrapping paper and the garish bows, such a metaphor for this time of year, emptiness wrapped in a sparkle. He needed a new coat, Not for Peter, the boundless consumerism, the need replacing the want, and the want generated by wall-to-wall advertising. His need was genuine. His last coat was stolen when some kids mugged him. What did he have that they really wanted? Even his coat, the only thing they could find to steal, was thrown in the canal. What little money he had was tucked into a sock. He didn't possess a mobile phone, no electronic gadgets. His needs were few and almost all catered for. He entered the charity shop, brushing off the light sting of snow. They knew him here, knew he wasn't here to cause trouble or even discomfort for the other customers. He needed a coat. He'd seen one here the other day, and he'd been able to brig a few pounds. Seeing it again on the rack, a smile broke out onto his cracked and weather-worn face. He carefully slipped it from the hanger and over his shoulders. The soft wool material sat kindly on his rough skin, and he wrapped the belt around his middle, the coat feeling like a long-forgotten warm embrace. He dug into his trouser pocket, the one without the hole, and brought out £5 in change. It was all he had, but it was a sound investment, and he wouldn't be walking by the side of the canal anymore. He placed the pile of coins onto the counter, and the lady smiled, didn't bother to check or count the coins, but scooped them up and dropped them straight into the cash till. He nodded his thanks and left the shop. No longer did the harsh wind cut through the threadbare clothing. No longer did the droplets of snow land on his exposed bare flesh like tiny frozen needles. He stood in the doorway for a few seconds, unsure what to do next. He thrust his hands into the deep pockets to keep them warm, and in one he felt paper, 2 sheets. He brought them out, one a £20 note, one a page of a notepad. Please enjoy a Christmas meal with this. He frowned, was confused, looked back into the shop. The woman behind the counter was watching him, smiling. She nodded. That's it.
I'm going to cry.
I know. I know.
Oh my goodness, that was beautiful, Gerald.
It was a happy story. That's very strange.
I know, but it's still going to make me cry because, girl.
Yeah.
I cry when I'm happy. And I had to explain that to my son once I was crying. He's like, Mommy, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm just happy. He's like, why are you crying? Because you're happy? I'm like, it's just, don't worry about it. You'll understand when you're older.
Yeah,
that was
nice.
Absolutely beautiful.
I liked it. I liked it a lot.
So where did you get the inspiration from that story?
I've written a few times in the past about sort of homeless people at Christmas. My wife has worked when we were in London, she worked as a sort of charity called Crisis at Christmas. So it's set up for homeless people specifically at Christmas, and it gets homeless people, picks them up, brings them to this big sort of warehouse place or church or something. And they feed them, they cut their hair, they give them showers, they get checked over by a doctor, they get a warm bed for the night, fresh clothes if they need them. So it's just a sort of 1 or 2 night thing, just a respite from the streets, and it's really heartwarming. And the people who volunteer there are so enthusiastic about it. And they have to be a bit careful because some of them are, the drugs and drink, and they're not allowed to bring drink or drugs into the places. So when they say, you have to get rid of that, they can get a little bit violent. But no, it's just a sort of heartwarming thing to do. And so every time Christmas comes around, that keeps coming back to me, that there are, on television, you get all these blooming images of what the ideal Christmas should be like, and Christmas isn't like that for a lot of people. So I just like to. I haven't got a downer on Christmas, and I enjoy the Christmas festivities, but it's just nice to remember some other people who aren't.
Well, that was a lovely, lovely story.
Thank you.
Very lovely.
Thank you.
Chrissy, did you want to share anything today?
I wrote some more of that purple story.
Oh, you did. I liked where that was going. I did. Did you see my message to Annie? I was like,
yeah, I saw that.
Did you go listen to Bradbury Challenge? Chrissy wrote something literary. She's like, really? We're all excited because we're rubbing off on you.
Well, I mean, I used to love reading Shakespeare, and then I'd write something that was Shakespeare-ish sounding.
You have a really nice poetic voice.
Some days.
I'll just take the compliment.
Okay. I'll take it. She danced in the frothing waves until the light crept over the edge of the world, and golden light splashed upon her naked thighs. When finally the last rays shriveled up over the horizon, and red turned to purple, she made her way back up the slope of the sands. Cold and wet, she moved out past the embankment to sit on the docks and watch the stars appearing one by one in the velvet sky. I thought to go to my purple goddess then, to hear her voice and listen to her soft laughter, to tell her that her dance had been an amazing riot of joy in the fading sunlight. But I did not dare. I slunk away in the night, letting the evening end without saying a word to the honey-skinned beauty. There you go.
Nice.
Oh, honey-skinned beauty.
Very,
I
very
like that
nice.
phrase.
Yeah, I know, right? She has great poetics.
Yeah.
This is not. I did not know this about Chrissy's writing. I really enjoy the poetics in your writing.
It sneaks into my novels too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you have that, it tends to sneak in everywhere. Who are we kidding? Once a poet, always a poet. It never quite goes away. Did I read last week? I don't think I did I?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. This poem is called Meeting at the Dawn of Time. I wrote it end of last week. I edited it this week. I wrote 2 more poems this week. So I've written 3 poems in the past.
That's right. You said you couldn't read it because you were submitting it. Yeah,
I submitted a different one. So now I can read this one.
Okay.
Yeah, because I wrote 3 poems last week, which hasn't happened in a long time. Yeah, right. I told you, stuff's changing. Meeting at the dawn of time. Good morning, you beautiful man, said she, through the clouds and across the sea. Heat from raw ore rambling below, seeping through cracks of pain and snow. I'm not a poet. I'm not a man. Simply a being with one open hand. And what of the other, he had to say. She glared at her fist and began to pray. Inside is but a babbling brook, or perhaps the sun, that awful crook. Which one is it? It is your hand. I haven't seen it since you were sand. And he climbed the tree, and she knelt far below. He grabbed her fingers, and she started to blow. All the birds' species flew high in the air, then tumbled and screeching fell here and fell there. Stop, her voice cried, but it was too late. The man's skin was burning, the old sun's new fate. She ran through the rafters, prancing across stars. She watched the man grow in that awful afar, and he yearned for her touch at the edge of his woe, and she told him the stories of the new sun's old glow.
Wow.
So that was one I wrote last week, which came out of the frickin' blue. And yeah, actually, I just, we talked last week about how much this year we've all changed,
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking about it, and I did a YouTube video on it, and I was thinking about how my identity has changed. Last year was the year when I was like, I'm a writer. I write literary fiction, and I was okay with that. This year, the big change for me has been the being able to say I'm a poet and have it be comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And starting, the word artist is starting to come into my vocabulary. And I think it's because I'm surrounded by so many different artists now, and I can see the similarities, when I'm talking to a musician, or I'm talking to a painter, or I'm talking to someone that sculpts. The creative process and the emotions behind it are so similar. And I really say that like the last 6 weeks, it's been the first time where I've been able to say I'm an artist. And if someone's asked me what I do, to say I'm a writer. I write literary fiction, short stories, and poems, and have all of that be completely comfortable. And I think that change in identity must have broken something loose, because I've been writing a lot of poetry.
Wow. It's good poetry too.
Mm-hmm. It's very image invoking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still working on it. There's still some little tweaks here and there. I may submit it eventually, but it needs work. But I like where it's at right now. The bare bones are there. When it comes to poetry, it's like you write it and you revise it and you look at it and you're like, everything is there that needs to be there, but it's not quite perfect.
Right.
Maybe something simple. I did a Facebook post on a really simple poem. I think it was like only 5 lines. I think it was 4 lines. And I wrote it the way it originally came out of my head. And it really couldn't even really be called a poem at that point. And I compared it to once I fiddled with line breaks and punctuation and voice and posted them side by side. And it was really interesting how really, really simple things change the whole tone and emphasis of a poem, even if it's simple, tiny little poem with hardly any words. Just a comma or just moving the line break changes the whole voice of the thing. I thought that was really fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's the rhythm, isn't it? The rhythm of the poetry, and the rhythm has to be right, I find.
Yeah, definitely. So is there anything else you guys would like to talk about before we wrap it up? It seems like we're all a little sleepy this morning.
I wonder why.
Because of you.
I have no excuse.
I blame Gerald.
Yeah, we blame him because he's in that other time zone.
I was trying to figure out, could we do this in the evening? No, not with Gerald being on.
No. Because we need Gerald, because we love Gerald. Okay. Well, to get rid of this love fest, kids, I just want to thank you both for being on today. I want to thank all of our listeners for joining us in the Bradbury Challenge. If you were listening live, I want to thank you. If you just came in at the tail end, this will post on YouTube probably in about a minute. Then you can listen to it from the beginning. If you would like more information about all of our shows, visit literaryroadhouse.com. Ciao.
Bye.
I was waiting for that. Bye.